What's going on, world? It's a beautiful sunny day here in the DMV. This is your boy, Derek Dunn, back with another interview for Reviews&Dunn. On the line today, I have Mr. Randy Gill, better known as one of the siblings of Johnny Gill. But Mr. Randy Gill also has a music career himself and was a singer in 90s group To The Extreme. How are you doing today, sir?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. How's everything with you?
Blessed. Can't complain. Just, I'm happy the
great.
sun is out. I'm waking up every day, and I haven't caught the COVID yet, so, I'm blessed.
Oh, man. I feel like I'm fighting Mike Tyson. I'm dodging it every chance I get.
Yes, sir. All right, so generally, everyone knows that your sibling is none other than R&B balladeer Johnny Gill.
Mm-hmm.
How was it growing up with brothers, all of whom could sing?
You know what? Of course, when you're young, you don't think about it as much until you get older and realize, oh, we all can sing, huh? Okay, let's see what we can do. But it was great, man. We did gospel back in the day, when we were young, and we never thought about the R&B. We were just thinking about going to church, doing our thing, singing in church. Of course, we were in church all day long, so we would do our thing, come home from church, go to bed, get up in the morning, go to school, and next Sunday, let's do it again.
Now, you have it's yourself, Johnny, Jeff, and are there any other brothers that sing?
Bobby. I have one more, which is Bobby.
And who's the oldest and who's the baby?
Jeff is the oldest, and Johnny is the baby.
Huh, so Johnny must have got all the attention when you guys were growing up being the youngest.
Yeah, he did, man. He got a lot of attention.
Cool. So before joining To The Extreme, I understand that you were a part of a group called Nothing But The Truth, who were making noise in the D.C. area on the club scene. How did you all end up linking up, or how did you end up linking up with Jermaine and DeExtra to form To The Extreme?
Well, you know what? Actually, because Jermaine is my cousin, so of course I knew him from day one. I was singing in the group with my mom and all of us because they had a group, the Gospel Stimulation. So it was Jermaine, he was our drummer. And I knew that he could sing also because he was singing background also along with us in the church. So Jermaine and I, we grew up singing in the church. And so from day one, when I needed somebody that I know who could handle it, who can bring something different to the group, of course, we went after Jermaine, and it just became, a family thing between us. With DeExtra, I met him through a buddy of mine, which is Keith Martin. He's also had his song. I can't think of the name of the song right now, but Keith Martin is also a talented brother, producer, singer, writer. He brought DeExtra and myself together at a party one time. And the other guys, I met them, one was in on the police force, playing, the police band back in the days. So I met two of the guys that way. And there actually was like 7 of us. They all had friends. Of course, we all came together and decided to form a band, man. It was almost like a mint condition, but I believe either we had the same amount or maybe 1 or 2 more over. And we decided to try the band thing for a while, and it was okay, but it was just a whole, lot. When you look at the fact that back in the day they were looking for groups, but I think the biggest group was the Earth, Wind and Fire and the Mint Conditioned. So we decided to tone it down just a little, and when we did, it became DeExtra, myself, another guy, which is Daewoo, but right after Daewoo, because he was also, looking to do things on his own. Also, after him, we thought of Jermaine Mickey. And Jermaine Mickey, myself, and DeExtra became To The Extreme.
Nice. So prior to moving to the D.C. area, in the winter of '93, I visited the DMV in the summer of 1993. Around that time, your single "Cry No More" was already a local hit. How did you feel when you realized that the record was climbing up the charts nationwide?
Ecstatic, man. To be honest with you, it was so. Oh my God, it was such a blessing because, when you're doing a single, when you're doing any music, you like what you do, because it's something that you created. It's like it's your baby from birth. you don't know how it's going to take when the world, gets to hear it. When you're thinking, of course, somebody's going to like it, somebody's not going to like it. When we heard it, and we first heard it on the radio, and people were calling in that day to have it replayed all over again. Man, it was such, my God, it was just such a blessing until we just couldn't really, we couldn't even explain it. We just wanted to just jump up and down for joy. Just like when you watch these movies out here, how they hear the song, with 5 heartbeats, the Clock Sisters and all of them, how they were jumping up and down and going crazy and all that stuff. That was us. It was just a blessing to have other people understand our, music, our dream, our vision of this song, our feelings and making this song when you heard it, why we sung it the way we sung it. And, until this day, it's still a blessing just to hear it on the radio sometime when people, are requested, or when people are singing it just and not even knowing it. Actually, sometimes they have people that are singing it when I'm there, but sometimes there are people that are singing it and not realizing you're singing my song. And I walked in the gym one time, man, and I heard myself on the radio, and I was like, wow. it was so amazing, man. It was crazy.
So I'm gonna go off track really quick because I just want to get some more history. As I tell all my people that I interview, hearing you guys talk about the history and hearing you guys just recant your stories is interesting to me. I mean, like I tell everybody, hearing you guys talk about the type of stuff is the equivalent for sports fans right now watching the Jordan documentary on ESPN. I mean, that's how much this stuff means to me and how much I get, joy and pleasure out of this. It's a blessing. I'm just talking to you. So with the Cry No More song, were you guys already signed to a label, or did Cry No More actually help you guys get signed to a label?
It actually helped us, man, because we were actually doing this, and while we were doing it, we were, well, of course, we weren't signed yet, but when people heard it, we had a few labels coming after us wanting to sign us for that, but yet we weren't jumping like crazy going, to sign just that quick, because we knew the ins and outs when it came, to this. What, some labels, wanted because it could be a one hit for them. Some wanted because they believed in it and wanted it to grow as well as, us. They wanted us, they believed in us also. So, wow. Like I said, I sit down and I think about that, man. It's like, oh my God, we got signed after that. So, it did help us get signed. But believing in God helped us the most. You know what I'm saying? Because we trust God to lead us and guide us to where we need to be.
No doubt, no doubt. One of the things I loved about 90s R&B groups is that usually everyone in the group could sing lead at some point. Why do you think the industry kind of shied away from that?
Oh, wow. Why did it? You know what? I guess because to shy away from each one singing, wow. I don't. I think it's just a matter of the song that fits that particular person, the songs that you get, because there's so many songs that you listen to until sometimes you think, I love this song, but they shouldn't have had this person leading on and stuff like that. So I don't think they shied away. I just think it's the matter of the right song for the right person. And sometimes you may get that whole album and not realize you sung the whole album, and it could have been one of the other guys that can blow, and you may not hear them on the album singing it, but you may hear them at a live show, doing it and stuff like that. So I'm not sure about it being shied away. I just think about getting the right song for the right group and for the right person to bring it home the way it's supposed to be.
What do you remember about the label putting you all through artist development prior to releasing your first album?
There was really no artist development really for us, because the thing is that they took us for who we were, and we were a bunch of church, guys that DeExter was a drummer, and he played how he felt. I was a bass player and a singer, and I sang and played how I felt. Jermaine was a drummer and a singer. He played and sung. So the development, man, came from God. It didn't come from actually the label. The label basically just got us into places that we needed to get, but it was God that gave us a talent to go out and to deliver it. We delivered it just like we were if we were in church. We didn't take it, take anything away. We brought something to the label. We brought what God gave us, and we didn't change that because it wasn't the label's gift in the beginning. It was God and what He gave us. We decided to take it out into the world, with us to the people.
Was there a moment in your initial career that you realized you had officially made it?
Let's see. Was there a moment that sometimes, yeah, there was a moment, when you're doing shows and your shows are selling out and you have people request me and you're tired and burnt out and stuff like that because you're on the go a lot, that's when I felt like I made it because there was hardly no time to rest. It was always on the go. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't mad about that. I was glad because, sitting still wasn't my thing. When you're busy and when you're talked about it, when you're doing interviews and when you're singing, and stuff like that, you feel like you've accomplished what you set out for. You're going to always, it's always something you're going to start over. It's never going to be the same, but you just felt like what you did wasn't in vain.
Do you have any tour memories you would like to share?
Any tour memories? My memories are doing shows. I have one tour memory of being in Dallas, I believe. I have a whole lot, but my favorite one, which is crazy, is being in Dallas at Juneteenth. And we did a show, and I believe it was outside with Tony Braxton and all of us, and just a lot more. I think the little girl was at the time Raven Simone and all of us, and it was many more. And I believe Drew Hill was there and all. We did a show outside at Juneteenth. That's what it was called in Dallas. And we decided, while we were singing, we're so used to when you're in church, you're walking down the aisle and you're, shaking hands or whatever the case may be. And we decided to go to church, of course, and we decided to jump off the stage and go towards the barricade. And we walked towards the barricade and went out and to sing to some of the people. And when not realizing that they were just excited as we were, that they decided to break the barricades and push through and came after us. It was fun, but it was scary also because the police was right behind us. But the thing about the police is that they stood behind us. They never came out in front to come get us. So Jermaine ended up getting caught, and I got caught, but I got away. Jermaine got caught. He was going down for the count. DeExter got caught, and he was going down, but he broke away, and he had to run over and save Jermaine. And we saved Jermaine, and when we got back on the stage, of course, Jermaine had no shirt on because they ripped off his shirt and stuff like that. And they ripped out, but it wasn't like Jermaine because he wasn't able to get away. And then from that time of doing that, it took about a few months before Jermaine even came back to the front of the stage because from then on, it took him some months to he was singing behind us instead of up with us. And if you act like you were getting ready to jump up on the stage, he would be gone like the little dude up on the 5 Heartbeats that did the high-pitched voice. He took off just like anything. At one time when he was singing and somebody did get on the stage, I turned around and Jermaine had the little girl on his back. She hopped up on the stage, jumped on his back, and he's twirling around in the circle to get away. And it was just so hilarious, but it was a moment to remember because I was like, that's when you kind of know if you made it because it was like they get excited where they lose it. We get excited. We lost it because we had no business to jump down there.
All right. In 1994, you worked with Petra on a cover of the Spinners' Could It Be I'm Falling in Love?
Yeah.
How was it working in the studio with her?
You know what? I loved Petra. She had this flavor that was just so magnetic. I mean, the people that listened to it, even if you didn't know reggae that much or whatever the case may be, you listened to it because she delivered it. It was like her having her in church. You just had to If they sung it, you had to listen to it. I think she's, even to this day, to me, one of the a great performer. When we enjoyed it, and we would do it again. It was awesome to us, man. It was, doing with any artist was it was awesome because to get to know new talent, not just the talent, but knowing the other people that's behind them, also that help create their work. And that were able to be a part of us as well as her. When it was a dream, another dream come true.
I feel that the group's second album was very underpromoted. You all had Layla Hathaway on there. You had that Rodney Jerkins remix with Cora Mega as the first single. I mean, the way you guys were singing on that second album was just rich and grown man R&B, and you guys weren't trying to cater to the youth demographic. You guys were growing as artists. What are your thoughts on the label's handling of the second album?
It was crazy, to be honest with you. Let me tell you, at that time, the label also was going through some changes because, there were some groups in there that weren't doing their part of, their shows, and we were flying from place to place to do the part to try to save the label as well as, because we were on there. And plus, we love to sing. So we've changed many times in the airport to just go and fly to do somebody else's show and stuff like that. And because of doing that, and the label was sinking because they were changing management and people who wanted to come in and thought they knew how to do this and how to do that and stuff like that. It got to the extreme, caught up in a lot of that. But the thing is that they were still trying to push to the extreme, but it just didn't feel the same anymore with us. And we wanted to get out of that label and wanted to get to another, but because when you're on contract, it's not that easy. So, yeah, we decided that, I know a lot of people thought we were dropped from labels and stuff like that, and we weren't. We just decided to fade out a little bit, just to keep the good name of To the Extreme without saying, oh, they got dropped from the label. Well, you're going to think that anyway, but we didn't, and that's what kept us going also because we didn't get dropped or anything, we didn't get lost in it. We just decided to save ourselves so that when we come back, we're able to come back even stronger.
Yeah, like I said, that second album, man, was full of so many gems.
Man, when we sung it, we decided to go crazy with it.
Yeah, boy. I mean, just the way that the extra was writing and
yeah, man.
His production.
I always said the extra is underrated. I mean, underrated because he's a beast when it comes to it, and he somehow were able to incorporate the way we felt into it. He didn't go the normal way of thinking we need to do this way to adapt to this world or whatever, the R&B world or pop world or whatever. He played it, and we just delivered it the way we felt. So I would say he was underrated because the brother can write his behind off, and he's talented in putting things together because some things that he did when it came down to, the vocal harmonies and stuff like that, I used to be in there like, man, I'm not doing that. That's crazy. But then you do it, and you come back and listen to it. You're like, this boy is a beast. So I would say he's a beast in doing things. So he's more underrated than I would say. The other thing because he's got a heart of gold when it comes down for the music and stuff like that. He loves taking his time and coming up with new ideas, and to be able, he steps outside of his box.
So about a year after the second album, it's 1997, you had a chance to work with the late, great Teddy Pendergrass on Slow Ride to Heaven.
Yeah.
How was that experience? It
was unbelievable, man. For someone of that genre, this guy, Teddy, is was such a perfectionist, but yet he was to sing with him and to watch his face when you're in the booth singing and stuff like that, for him to come and ask you, Randy, so what do you think about it? Do you like it? And I told him what I like and thought, stuff like that. And he took questions and he took answers from me, and that was just so incredible because I'm thinking also that this is a living legend asking me what I like. Like, he really values my opinion. So that's something I will always treasure. Until this day, I hear that song in my head. And someone just told me about that song the other day, and just realized it the other day that was me on the background singing.
A lot of people may be surprised to learn that you've written songs for the artist as well. One of the songs you wrote is Skies, He's Doing You Wrong. Who are some of the other artists you've written for?
Oh, my God. I did Deeper, actually, for my brother Johnny. That's my older brother, Jeff. But I did Deeper also for Johnny for the movie Unconditional and stuff like that. I just did writing and whatnot, and I was just so wrapped up into it that when it got to an artist and whatnot, sometimes I did some stuff like over in Japan with this artist over in Japan and stuff like that, and I just never paid attention too much of who was. When I heard it, and if they sent it to me and said they wanted to do it and whatnot, stuff like that, I just okayed it. Like, hey, I'm honored that these people even wanted to write. So it's kind of hard. I did background for people a lot also, which is just still like the Usher. Well, we did oh my God, somewhere in LA, I forgot what it was, but I did a lot of background for artists and stuff like that, as well as writing for different people and whatnot. So it was like, man, a great thing for me.
Over the years, you've released the singles Marry Me, If I Could, Ready for Me, as well as your version of the song Deeper You Up for your brother Johnny Gill. Mm-hmm. Do you have plans to release a solo album anytime soon?
I do, man. I want to release it, just that I want to release something that's so, I guess, longevity. I want some lyrics that will last, like the Marvin Gayes, the Teddy Pendergrass, the Donny Hathaways, the Stevie Wonders and all. I want to be in that book of songs that last forever, so I don't just like rushing through the songs. I like listening to them. I like getting a certain feel and stuff like that. So I will be releasing an album, and hopefully soon. But I'm hoping after this stuff is over with here with this COVID and all that stuff, it's like I want to get in here and release what I feel. I'm always changing stuff, so it takes me a minute to get it together, for that. And I don't mind, because you can't rush, good things. It has to come when it's time to come.
I'm a diehard No Edition fan, so anytime your brother Johnny comes to DMV, I go out and support him. One of the highlights of Johnny's show is when he brings you on stage to sing. Have you ever talked about doing a Gill's Brother album?
We never talked about it yet, but I'm sure at some point in time we'll probably come up with something. We sit back and we let God lead us when it comes down to that. And I always say I would love to do something like that if I do, but I want the people to want it. I don't just want to do it because it's easy to do. I want to do it because the people need something like that, want something like that, want to to have something like that to enjoy, also as well, not just because, that's Johnny brother. You knew that was going to happen. Not necessarily. If it's meant to be, it will. But if it does come, I won't stop it. I'll definitely go forward with it.
Speaking on your brother Johnny, his signature song is My, My, My. However, from a musical standpoint, and as a trained singer yourself, what would you say is Johnny's most underrated vocal?
What's his most underrated vocal?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's Give My All to You. He sang that so purely, and I think that's probably his strongest. For me, that's probably his strongest song that he's ever sung, because it just seems like it's effortless. That's just my opinion, though.
It's so hard for me. It's so hard for me because everything he does, he puts his all into it, and I can actually listen to his whole album and actually enjoy it like crazy. Underrating, it's like it's almost like a hard thing for me to answer, because me being and knowing what he's capable of doing. Like Johnny lays back on a lot of stuff when he's doing a duet with somebody that's not too overpowered, because he's a powerful singer. So I think it's underrated when he does duets with people, because he's not able to unleash and be the Johnny Gill that he's known to be.
You have a favorite song? Do you have a favorite song by your brother then?
Do I have a favorite song by Johnny? I do. I've got, he's got a song on the new album actually that I love, and it's to me it's called I'd rather have a friend. What is it? It's called wow, it's in my head here. It's I'd rather be a friend than a lover, because that's something that basically is saying I would rather keep a friend than lose a lover. And it's deep, man. The lyrics on it is just crazy. When you listen to it, you be thinking about, what, you don't want to date me? No, but the thing is that I would date you, but I wouldn't want to take the chance also sometimes of losing this friend that I have also, to keep I love her because I don't want it to change.
Cool. One day you get a phone call from Tyler Perry, and he tells you that he wants to do a story from the Bible as a modern-day musical, and he wants your input. What story would you recommend Tyler to tell as a musical?
As a musical, something he got up. You know what I'm saying? Jesus of Nazareth. Because it's strong. I think people need to know that when you're looking at a cross and stuff like that now, to me, a strong musical is for them to gaze and to think and, to hear the music in your head that he's no longer there. He's got up. And they need to, if that was a musical there, they would pay attention because there's something to just look at and be there. Even if you're just staring at the cross and be like, he's no longer there. That's because he's up. He's off the cross. He's alive.
I know that you're a huge basketball fan. Growing up in D.C., I'm sure you know the name Len Bias.
Yeah,
Had Len not passed away, how different do you think the game would have been in Jordan's prime era if Len had gone to the Celtics?
I think it would have been, pretty much the same. Len was competitive as a young player. He was, he was in the time that I remember even when his passing. In PG, I was at PG Mall at that time. Len Bias and Jordan together would have been awesome. But probably the way the game is now probably would have been here even faster because they both were very competitors.
What can you tell me about Randy Gill for Lovers Only?
Randy Gill for Lovers Only. I wanted to do a Randy Gill for Lovers Only because it's my form of saying, although you're not hearing from To the Extreme right now, when I'm always going to, present something to let you know that we're still doing our thing, either from To the Extreme or from Randy Gill. We're going to, present love to you in one form or fashion. It's my way of getting music across to people, but to allowing them to understand that, music calms the savage beast. When you feel aggravated, when you feel tired, when you feel like you have too much energy and stuff like that, when you put on something relaxing, which is from my show Lovers Only, of course, it just changes your whole way of thinking, because I take you back with my music that I play of when you were growing up and hearing these songs that made you feel a special kind of way, because it's going to make you feel when you first fell in love to when you may have lost the love to when you're falling in love again. And it's a place only for lovers. So I call it For Lovers Only because it's that whole circle just keeps you going in that circle for, where it has nothing to do but love, nothing about hate, all about love. You're going to remember from the time you first fell in love till you fell out of love till you're falling back in love.
So have you guys ever talked about doing a reunion album or another project, To the Extreme?
Of course. Those are my brothers. I'm going to always be, ready to do a project with them. We just want to come back, and we wanted it to be To the Extreme, of course, because we want to come back every time and take it to another level and take it to another extreme, for the people. We don't want to overdo it. We just want to do it enough, to where that, To the Extreme hasn't left, but we want to give you all that you desire with each and every song. But To the Extreme, we're not going anywhere. We're still here. If you want it, we got it. Just look for it. It's on the way.
Is there anything you'd like to add? And where can fans find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. Randy Gill. You can find me. You can Google me also. You can. Oh my God! Of course, the websites I don't have up yet. We're putting a new website up and stuff like that. But always on Facebook. Always on Twitter. Like I said, or you can Google me. I'll always have something on there where you can find me. Just stay tuned in. You'll see me. If you can't find me there, meet me at the Lovers Only on my site. Leave me a page there. I'll get back with you because I do respond back to all my, I won't even call them fans, all my family on these pages.
All right, folks, you've just heard the knowledge and wisdom of Mr. Randy Gill of the group To the Extreme. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview as much as I did. I learned some stuff that I didn't know. As always, stay blessed, stay inspired, and a huge thank you to Mr. Randy Gill for not only providing music from my childhood, but just for taking the time out of his busy schedule to speak with me today. Till the next time, folks, Dunn out.